Fantasy Football Week 2 recap and Week 3 waiver wire edition of Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code OFFSGPN to score up to $100,000 or $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old-fashioned football.
You make this deal right now, you pancake-eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old-fashioned football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you listen to, this is J Mark. You can find me in the X at J Mark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. Always try to bring the energy at the top of the show. And we got a lot to talk about. So before we get to it, I got to bring in my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mark. How you doing today?
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
It's Monday. You almost said $100,000 cash.
I think I did a little bit. It kind of popped out.
Let's not give people the wrong impression.
Yeah, Underdog is not giving away $100,000 cash.
No. And yeah, aside from that, it's Monday. I'm trying to get the week started off right here, but we'll see.
Yeah. And it was a wild week 2. A lot of upsets happening. A lot of fantasy football players not putting up numbers. So let's just jump right into this and talk about, like, we talked about week 1, don't overreact. Do we overreact now? Because, for example, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce drafted 1 and 2 at tight end, and I ended up having both in one league.
I have both in a league too.
Yeah, Laporta was a keeper of mine. Laporta is currently tight end 16. Travis is 27th. Are you worried?
I am not worried about Sam Laporta. I still think the week 1 overreaction bleeds into week 2
Okay.
to an extent. I am worried about Travis Kelce though.
Are you?
Because he did not perform during the season the way we anticipated him to last year. But then when they went getting into the playoffs and the Super Bowl and everything, he performed like he was in his old form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had high hopes going into the season, and just to see like one catch for like 5 yards, is that what it was this past week? Something like
so,
that.
Yeah.
And it's after having a poor performance for week 1, I'm a little nervous. Like, this offense is not focused on him.
Right.
And they don't need to be.
Well, and Patrick Mahomes did not look great. It
He
was one of the
didn't-
lowest.
Yeah.
They said it was the second lowest, I believe, passing performance.
Yards in his career.
And
the other game, he had an injury.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of people want to say, well, they're double teaming Travis. Travis Kelce's been double teamed for years.
His whole career. Is
Yes.
he catching up to him? Or he's partying too much in New York City.
Maybe he is partying too much, doing too many pods, partying with Tay-Tay.
So he is the one that kind of makes me nervous because of last season.
Yeah.
Like, are we seeing him fade out? Is it time to start fading him? Like, is he, for fantasy relevancy, is he done?
I do believe I said preseason that he was starting to show his age, and it was going to show this year. You were mad.
You still went after him?
I did go after him, but yeah,
it's hard to fade him until you need to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to, like.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is somebody. He's one of those players that was a serious week 1 overreaction. We were getting questions.
Yeah. Should I cut him? Should I drop him?
Yes, we were getting questions on Thursday, and no.
He had a huge game.
Yes, he did.
He had a huge game.
Exciting.
Now he still has. He's like the I think I read 7th or 8th wide receiver as far as yards go. He has still only caught a pass in 2 different quarters, I believe. So it's like part of the game, Kyler looks at him all the time. Part of the game, he doesn't. And that's part of this I guess, fantasy football. It's frustrating. There's going to be ups and downs, even with the good players. We're going to try to help you figure that out as much as we can, though I don't think anybody predicted Travis Kelce would be 27th in 2 weeks, but we're here to help you.
Yes. So anyway, stick around today. We have our lengthy injury report again. It's always so heavy at the beginning of the season.
True.
We've got some studs and duds. Sir throws a lot, of course, and then Underdog Monday Night Football picks.
Yeah.
Waiver wire picks. Monday Night Football best bets, and then of course our whiskey review.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure on the best bets because for first touchdowns, you hit last Monday, I hit last Thursday. That means we are, I guess, 100% as a podcast.
As a podcast.
For first touchdown bets.
Not individually.
Yeah, no, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Serial saying, hello, fellow D-Gens. What's going on, man? Nick says, panic mode. Debo is out now. These injuries are crazy. We are going to get to that. And it is crazy with injuries and people not putting up their regular numbers. That's also an issue. Yeah, Josiah says week 2 sucked ass.
It did.
So,
I had many leagues where it was Sunday morning and then it was AJ Brown was announced that he's out. I had to wait for Sleeper to catch up with that, even though Sleeper announced it.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to put him on my IR. I'm not dropping anybody.
There were a lot of
Evan Engram was reported out. I had a league where my IR was full. My entire bench, after Sunday night football last night, my bench had 0 points on it. I had players in my lineup who ended up scoring 0.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have. I can't tell you right offhand who one of those people were, but I was shocked.
Well, I know I started Keon Coleman and he had 0.
Yes, Keon Coleman.
That hurt.
Xavier Leggett, I had to start him. He had 0.
Dom Douglas had 0 for me in a league.
What is happening?
Yeah. No, it was a rough week. I guess if you had the players like Alvin Kamara that popped, it was good for you. We'll kind of get ready or talk about that in studs and duds a little bit. Primetime Z checking in. Should I trade Devonta Smith and Montgomery for Jamar Chase? I wouldn't, unless you have a lot of running back depth. But I think Monty is a really good fantasy asset. And then Jamar Chase, I know he's getting some looks now, but T. Higgins is going to be back. And there's just been something just a little bit off with that chemistry with Joe Burrow. I know they looked all right against the Chiefs, but I think it was more the Bengals defense. So yeah, I don't know if I would do that, especially because Devonta Smith is going to continue putting up numbers. But again, it does depend on, I guess, your depth at running back, because Chase obviously is better than Devonta Smith in my opinion. I think he's going to have a better year, but you're kind of sacrificing running back depth there. Can we 86 any Saints on the studs list this week? We'll only put one of them on there, Serial. Before we get going here, Murr, what are we drinking today?
Oh, we're gonna be. I guess we're not drinking it yet. We're gonna be trying.
Yeah.
Buzzard's Roost cigar rye.
Yeah. So if you've never joined us, of course we talk whiskey, old fashioned football. We have old fashions, but we're switching it up a little this year. Monday we're gonna be giving the history of the whiskey and trying it on its own. And then Thursday,
we'll drink the old fashioned with it and give you that review.
Yeah.
And we're also looking for some whiskey recommendations. It's been a minute since we've asked. So if you're listening and you're here for the whiskey or staying for the whiskey, give us some recommendations of whiskeys you haven't heard us review, you want to see us review.
Yeah. And even better, I'll top that.
Even better.
Yeah. Go to your local distillery and say, hey, have you guys heard of Old Fashioned Football? If not, you should reach out to them and see if you can be on their pod, because we love interviewing distillers. It's been a little bit since we've done that too. It's a little crazy during the season. That's why we haven't yet.
Yes.
But we still want to do that. Real quick before we get to the injury report, the war against corporate gambling is heating up, and SGPN needs you to do your part. If you can take a couple seconds to rate and review Old Fashioned Football on iTunes, most importantly, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the heartbeat of SGPN. And speaking of that, any review on iTunes the rest of this month, even if you've already left one, update it. It'll notify us that it's updated. We'll get signed up for a drawing to win
an old-fashioned football t-shirt.
An old-fashioned football t-shirt. There you go.
There's a lot of colors on whichever you want to go with in the merch store.
In the online store.
The online store, on the merch store,
Yes.
on the merch site.
there are a lot of different colors. So leave a review on iTunes. It really helps us out a lot. It lets us know, or lets the bosses know that, hey, people are listening. So that's important. Should we hop right into this injury report?
Yes, we should.
All righty. Before we start it, I do want to talk about not an injury, but a benching. Number 1 draft pick, Bryce Young, is being benched. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, is up. This is a big deal because I think I screenshotted this. I just want to remind everybody that Carolina got Bryce Young by giving the Bears wide receiver DJ Moore, 2023 first round pick, which we used on Darnell Wright, 2023 second round pick, which we used on Tyreek Stevenson. Both are starters right now. And Tyreek Stevenson is starting to make a good name for himself. 2024 first round pick, Caleb Williams, yet to be seen, and a 2025 second round pick. They gave all that up for Bryce Young.
They sold the farm.
They sold the farm and the tractor, as you said, the Ferrari tractor. And now they're benching him for Andy Dalton. So it's I don't blame him though. I saw a headline.
And they picked that pick like I didn't think that he was gonna be.
I didn't think he should be.
No,
the
right one.
No, and I mean, they this morning reports came out that Bryce Young and those close to him were surprised. How the fuck are you surprised? Like, you have been playing terrible. Like, as an athlete, you should know, like, yeah, I'm not doing well.
Do you think
you should not be surprised?
Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud would have fit into that offense?
I think ownership and coaching has something to do with it, but I think Bryce Young sucks. I think he's too small for the NFL. I think he sucks. So I think Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud would have done better than him. Yeah, 100%. All right. Injuries.
All right. Let's get right into this with probably the biggest injury news. Isaiah Pacheco fractured his fibula, and he's likely going to be on the injured reserve and is expected to miss around 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, what a pussy. I mean, my dad fractured his fibula and still threw the football around with me that night. Still was the sideline judge for soccer that weekend before he went to the doctor. Now, granted, he didn't have to have surgery like Isaiah Pacheco's going to have, but
Isaiah Pacheco's injury might be a little bit more severe.
I'll just talk about the one that we all know about. Tua Tagovailoa concussed in Thursday's game.
I was so emotional over that when we watched that happen.
Even if you're not a Tua fan, it sucks for him. He's meeting with neurologists, and we're just waiting to see. We're waiting to see. No, they've asked, don't be speculating about is he retiring and all that stuff. Granted, he should, but yeah, that definitely sucks for him. He should have slid. I don't mean to point fingers, but he should have slid.
But you're in the moment, and you're just
he had the first down.
I know. Another injury for you, Justin Herbert. He got rolled up on, finished the game after getting taped up, but now he's having x-rays on his lower right leg, and we're waiting on those results.
Yeah, a lot of leg injuries. We'll move right on to running backs. Tyjae Spears injured his ankle. It's not a major injury, but he's considered day-to-day, and you're going to have to wait to see if he misses some time. It might be a fully Tony Pollard backfield.
Joe Mixon got injured in the game last night. He injured his ankle. He was tackled.
A hip drop
tackle. Not allowed.
It's a football play.
There's so many restrictions on how you can tackle a player. But so I think the Bears are going to get fined. Or who was that? I don't remember who tackled him.
He is going to get fined. Sure.
He did finish the game after going back to the locker room. Then we saw him on the bike a little bit. But we'll wait and see if he's going to sit out a game. If he misses time, Dameon Pierce and Cam Akers are next in line.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that hip, I mean, we were talking about it, and I when they did the replay, I said to you, okay, what's the defender supposed to do? He's got him wrapped by the waist. The running back is literally starting to pull him forward. He's just trying to get him down. What's he supposed to do? Just let go and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't get you tackled. Like, it's football. Like, I don't know. Don't get me started. I'll turn into Colby pretty soon. Marshawn Lloyd made his season debut, but he got an ankle injury. So back from the hamstring, he's got an ankle injury now. He limped off the field. We're waiting for more information on that one.
Kenneth Walker missed Sunday's game with an oblique injury, and it sounds like they're going to be cautious with this, and I think he's going to miss some more games.
Yeah, I agree. Justin Jefferson has a thigh contusion. He's day to day. I think he's going to miss 1 week. He said he's going to be good to go. I think he's going to end up missing. I mean, they're 2-0. Nobody had expectations for them to be 2-0. Don't risk your star player getting hurt worse. A thigh contusion is when you get hit so hard in the thigh that the protective layer around your muscle rips. So you don't want to lead to getting more of a muscle tear or anything.
Yes. Amon-Ra St. Brown also has a leg contusion, but he should be okay.
Yes.
All these contusions.
Yeah, not as bad as what I heard. He just needs to stop being a pussy. This one kind of came out of nowhere for me, but Deebo Samuels has a strained calf, and he's now expected to miss multiple weeks. So this guy is not on our waiver wire pickup, but look for Juwan Jennings on your waivers because I think he's going to have a lot more targets. We already saw him being involved as Brandon Ayuk got worked in. So I think he'll be even more involved now. Involved, not evolved.
Okay. Cooper Kupp. This one hurts you. Hurts you. I was hurt first. I'm still hurting over Puka. But after placing Puka on IR, now Kupp is hurt. We're waiting on more info on what the injury is, but he's expected to miss extended time. Yeah. And he could be heading to the IR to join everybody else. So we're looking at like Tyler Johnson, Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson, all expected to maybe see more time and hopefully score some fantasy points with that time.
Yeah, I have a league where I did my draft. People in the draft talked about how good my roster looked. I felt super confident. And
everybody got injured.
Cooper Kupp is one of my wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, who of course did not have a great game. Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta. It's looking a little bleak now. Then Evan Engram, you kind of talked about it, missed this week unexpectedly. He injured his hamstring in pregame warmups. So we're waiting to see if he's going to miss more time.
I need him back because he's going to be my saving grace for my tight end position because I have him. I targeted him hardcore. So if I have Laporta, I got Engram as my backup. And if I had Kelce, I have Engram.
There you go.
So
catching up with the chat real quick. Josiah asking, do you think he retires? I don't know. I think he should, honestly. I mean, it's not worth it if neurologists say like, hey, your brain is going to be in big trouble. I just don't feel like it's worth it. But that's easy for me to say from my chair here. I'm not the athlete on the field. And why does he never slide? I don't know. Miami invested a lot of dollars in coaching for people to come in.
He went through an entire season not getting hit.
Yeah, he did. And then Serial asking, was it the hip drop tackle, the same guy that sucker punched, or that got sucker punched? No, that was Roshan Johnson.
Roshan.
I accidentally made Murr laugh because I was like, hey, what do you – it's Roshan. It's fine. Punch him. I really don't care for Roshan, so hit him.
How dare you?
Hey, Murr. Why don't you tell people a little bit about Underdog Fantasy?
We are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry. The NFL is back, and there are a ton of Pick'em specials to get you started. We are going to be giving out picks here in a little bit, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, go sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to claim your special pick, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Go to underdogfantasy.com and use promo code OFFSGPN.
All right. We are back.
We are.
And it's time for some studs and some duds. But before we talk about the studs and duds, again, we're just going to do one stud, one dud by or each position. I thought it'd be funny to kind of run down the top 5 at each position because I was looking out of curiosity and I just think it's a little funny, because it's just not expected. So do you want to go through the 5 quarterbacks first? All right, go for it.
Number 1, Baker Mayfield, followed by Derek Carr. He had 2, I think, around 35-point games for week 1 and week 2. Surprised me. Kyler Murray coming in at 3, Lamar Jackson, and then Jaden Daniels. Yeah, so 3 running quarterbacks and 2 not so much running quarterbacks. Top 5 running backs, Alvin Kamara. Of course, he's coming off a really big game. Sorry, Serial. Devon Chan, J.K. Dobbins, James Cook, and Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, of course, nobody expected because we didn't know Christian McCaffrey would miss time. J.K. Dobbins, though, looking really good in his new team on the Chargers. And, so that's a little surprising to me. That's the most surprising one, I think. Your top 5 at wide receiver, coming in at number 1, Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Followed by Nico Collins, Jaden Reed, Justin Jefferson, and Alec Pierce.
Who we said to pick up last week on waivers
Mhm.
because he was rostered in less than 2% of leagues. Chris Godwin, we talked him up in the preseason or offseason, I guess, but I did not expect he was going to look this good.
Yes, and there's only 2 weeks though. I mean, this is
That's
going to
true.
change wildly in just a couple more weeks.
That's true, but his target share has been kind of crazy.
It has been, yes.
And I'll finish with tight ends. We got Isaiah Likely still hanging on to that first week that was really good because second week
Did not
so
have.
much.
I was going to say this is based off of week 1. He did not have the same
No, not at all.
performance this week.
George Kittle, Brock Bowers, Hunter Henry, and Mike Gesicki did not expect all of them.
Hunter Henry it was based off of last night.
Yeah, it
Or,
was
not last night, yesterday.
And just I did want to point out though that Kyle Pitts hasn't played, so he'll probably be on here after tonight.
Gross. He will not.
All right, do you want to start with the studs?
Yes,
All
let's
right.
start. At quarterback, Kyler Murray. He was projected 18.9. He threw 3 touchdowns, ran for 59 yards, and had 28.5 fantasy points.
Yeah. And Serial, go ahead and put your earmuffs on. We have one Saints stud, Alvin Kamara, projected 14 points. He finished with 43 points. He had 115 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 65 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown.
He just blew up.
Insane.
Let's see. This guy was a dud last week, but he's a stud this week. We mentioned him earlier. Marvin Harrison, projected 12.1, finished with 27 points after 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. All pretty much in the first half.
Yeah. I have to give you a shout out. You've done really well at not saying Marvinson.
Shut up. Are you trying to get me to see Marvinson again?
No, you've done really well. Tight end stud, Kittle and Nick Bride both had great games, but that's always kind of expected. I mean, they are studs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about one that wasn't expected. Hunter Henry. He was projected 5.8. He finished with 14.9, had 8 catches for 109 yards, I believe it was.
Wow.
Dud time?
Duds.
Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll let you start.
All right. I'll start with the quarterback. I don't want to add insult to injury and say Bryce Young, even though he was a dud. So let's go Matt Stafford. He was projected 17.9.
We won't say the obvious one.
Right. He's projected 17.9. He finished with 6.64. And they got destroyed by the Cardinals 41-10. And looks like he's really missing Puka. And now he's going to be without Kupp. So that's rough.
Mm-hmm. All right. For running back dud, Joe Mixon of the Texans. Normally, we don't really include injured players in this, but he wasn't doing great before the injury.
Yeah.
He was projected 15, finished with 6.5, and I just really feel like the Bears defense is the real deal. I was hoping our defense would have come through more and maybe got us like a touchdown like they did last
right.
week.
Yeah, it was a close game, though. We did all right. Wide receiver dud, out of respect for Tua, I'm not going to say Tyreek, even though he really let me down. So let's go for a guy I was so big on this year, and he's dominating the target share on the team, just not catching many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman, projected 11.6, finished with 3.6.
He's not trying hard enough. He's not getting to the ball.
Okay.
All right, tight end. We already talked about it, but Travis Kelce, projected 10.9, which I feel like that's even low. That's a low projection for him.
Yeah.
He finished with 1.1.
Yes.
I've got nothing.
He had 1 catch for 5 yards and 1 rush for 1 yard. So, doing great, Trav.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. I forgot to change our little whiskey clicker if you're looking on YouTube. I've been pretty good about it, but I missed it. Let's answer a question here. Voca35 says, I should drop right for taking Baker. I have Jordan Love out and Daniels that doesn't give me security for week 3. I also made a trade where I gave up Charbonnet for Tank Dell. Giving up Charbonnet for Tank Dell, it looks bad right now because Kenneth Walker's out and Charbonnet is carrying the team. And Tank Dell has not looked great adjusting to life with Diggs on the team, but I think in the long run, that's going to be a good trade. And I do think you should definitely target Baker.
I do. I agree with the Baker Mayfield.
Yep, absolutely. Nick Fortune asking long shot here, but do you think Tom Brady would come out of retirement to play for the Dolphins? I mean, they had the whole Brady and Dolphins thing
Really?
a couple years ago where like they were trying to get Brady and all sorts of stuff.
I think this year, isn't he supposed to be announcing this year?
He is broadcasting. Yes.
Where's he
Not
broadcasting?
supposed to be. We
And
just
why haven't
aren't
I-
watching those games.
Okay, I was
I
like,
don't want
what?
to listen to Tom Brady.
Where is he announcing it?
Speaking of listening to people, gosh, it's hard listening to Chris Collinsworth. I
Oh.
have so much trouble with that.
Sunday Night Football.
Yes.
Somebody else, please.
Yes, please. And it's just really tough to listen to, Chris Collinsworth, here's a guy. It's just driving me nuts. I didn't want it to be on mute, but I about put it on mute. Let's talk about Sir Throws a Lot.
This is Jim Miller, former Chicago Bears quarterback, and now it's time for Sir Throws a Lot.
You always try to talk over Tim.
I do. I'm so sorry, Jim.
He's nice enough to do that for us, and you want to just talk over him. So, Sir Throws a Lot. If you've never watched, it's the guy that threw the ball the most times. Last week it was Matt Stafford with 49. Murr, who's this week Sir Throws a Lot?
This week it is Jared Goff,
The Goof.
who threw the ball 55 times for 307 yards, but no touchdowns.
Yeah. Not a good game for the Lions. The Bucks
No.
whipped their ass kind of. I know it was close, but I think the Bucks really showed some swagger there. I like this Bucks team. I know I'm a Bears fan, and that will never change. But the Baker-led Bucks, it's hard not to root for them.
We were talking last night, like that's becoming your non-Bears team, or like the Texans
Kinda.
are mine, and I was like, well, the Texans are playing the Bears, and you yelled at me.
Well, you said, which one do I root for?
I didn't say which one do I root for. I said, what do I do? Obviously, I'm rooting for the Bears. I was more like giving you crap, making you all antsy over there, but
It worked.
it worked. I know how to rile you up.
Right? Shout out to Millie Mills checking in. What's up, y'all? Hashtag Rise Up. Falcons fan, I assume. I hope the Falcons win tonight. I would prefer them to beat the Eagles. Murr, it's time for our Underdog Fantasy.
It is.
And the lineups. These we have not been hitting on as well as our best bets, of course. But stick with us. We'll get it. I feel good about this one. I think one of us is going to hit and win some cash this time. So why don't you let everybody know your picks for Underdog Fantasy. And don't forget, go to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code OFFSGPN if you've never used it before. And you get up to $1,000 match. You get an instant pick'em special, and you can play along with us.
Absolutely. All right. I've got Jalen Hurts higher than 38.5 rushing yards. Bijan Robinson higher than 0.5 rushing touchdowns. I really need Bijan to get me those touchdowns. Saquon Barkley higher than 0.5 touchdowns. I really go for the rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
But honestly, I see both of these guys scoring tonight. Drake London higher than 4.5 receptions. Devonta Smith higher than 0.5 touchdowns. And then Ray McLeod, somebody who got brought up Thursday this past week. I have him higher than 3 receptions because he is getting some of that target share.
Yeah, he dominated the target share, surprisingly.
So all of these will pay $10. Will pay $271.18 for all, and you can get $34.80 if 5 of them hit.
Yeah, nice little flex entry there. And let me run through mine. I got Bijan Robinson, half rush touchdown, higher, of course, just like yours. Saquon Barkley, 18.5 receiving yards, higher. Jalen Hurts, half an interception, higher. Kyle Pitts, 39.5 receiving yards. My Pitts passion, of course, taking the higher. And then Dallas Goedert. I think with A.J. Brown being out, I think Dallas Goedert might get involved a little bit more. So I got half touchdown, higher, $10. This was a spicy one.
Oh,
spicy because Jalen Hurts was spicy. For some reason, just taking Bijan as a rush touchdown, not rush plus receiving, was spicy. Dallas Goedert was spicy. So $10 gives you a whopping $530. Or if you do the flex pay, you'll get $250 for all, $62.50 for 4. I think they're all hitting. So that $530 is going to cash. That's just my opinion.
I couldn't look at Kyle Pitts, all the ones for, I just can't do it because I'm so biased against him. I was like, this is going to be.
That's fair.
I wanted to go lower on everything.
Nick Fortune pointing out that Collinsworth was saying so many great things about the Bears quarterback. He was.
He really was.
Which is
A
unusual.
change.
Yeah, we're not used to hearing good things about Bears quarterbacks, but I just didn't want to hear it. Would you drop Chuba Hubbard for Zamir White? I definitely would.
I do think Zamir. Sorry, I'm interrupting you,
No,
but I
go
do
for it.
think Zamir White is going to end up having a really good season. The Raiders are really wanting to run the ball and use him.
Yeah, and they've not ran the ball very effectively yet, but Antonio Pierce is known for running the ball. I don't think they're going to get away from that. And I think the Panthers are shit. Maybe Hubbard will be a little bit better with Andy Dalton as quarterback, but I still think they are shit. Fun fact of the day, my wife's mom taught one of the offensive linemen for the Bucs. That's pretty cool. No Kirk Cousin interception, no. Nick likes your Ray McLeod pick. And Voca35, about that trade, I forgot to say that I have all wide receivers injured, Kupp, Higgins, and A.J. Brown. I have plenty of running backs, Jacobs, Taylor, Irving, and Madison. I like that.
Okay, and I guess maybe we should have said more on it too, because I'm a fan of Tank Dell.
Yeah, he's just struggled so far. I think they'll adjust.
I think that'll change. I just think right now with Walker being injured, Charbonnet is going to see some volume, but that's going to be temporary.
Right. And by week 4, Diggs will be complaining about not enough targets. They'll boot him off the team, and Tank Dell will be back.
No, but I do think it's not a bad trade just because Charbonnet is. That's just temporary.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Should we talk a little bit about waivers?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Something that was actually real quick before we do that.
Mm-hmm.
We should talk a little bit about BetUS. We're brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 40 years. Bet anywhere. BetUS is available in tons of locations, including internationally. BetUS just launched an all-new live betting experience. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency. Get your Dogecoin ready and get lightning-fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits, not just one, 3 of them. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know that we sent you. BetUS is America's favorite sports book. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors for all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money line spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model. Copy one of the top-performing models from the leaderboard or press Build a Model for me. And Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a myriad of stats, research, and trends analysis to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Now, back to old-fashioned football.
All right. Now we can get into the waivers. I'm trying to get through the ad read, and you're like trying to mock me over there. Trying to stay focused. I have to live up to what Matt Dwoskin, when he was on the pod, said.
Yeah, you're just talking like a million miles an hour, and yeah, you were fun to mimic over here.
By the way, if you see us drinking our Liquid Death shout out, we're waiting for the sponsorship. So if you have a family member that's working at Liquid Death or knows the people, just let them know that they need to sponsor Old Fashioned Football.
You have really been loving these, and you didn't tell me that some of them are not sparkling. I don't do carbonation. I just don't do it. And I didn't know that. I just found out, like this one, not carbonated.
Yeah. Let's should we jump into these waivers though?
Let's do it.
All righty. I'm gonna let you kick it off. Of course we go quarterback each, running back each, wide receiver each, tight end each. So why don't you kick it off with quarterback?
All right. I am gonna throw out Derek Carr. He's only rostered in 9.6% of ESPN leagues, 21% of Sleeper. We already talked about Derek Carr when we mentioned top 5 quarterbacks so far. He's averaging 14.7 yards per completion, which is an insane average per completion. I mean, this means big plays.
Those throws to Rashid Shaheed.
I know. He's had a 50-plus yard touchdown pass each game, and this offense has scored 91 points in the first 2 weeks. this is tied for fourth most in the NFL in the first 2 games. So things seem to be clicking with this offense. I mean, it's only the first 2 weeks, but they seem to be on fire. So maybe we'll see this continue. But to only be rostered in, that 9.6% on ESPN and 21% on Sleeper, you should be grabbing him up.
I know I went heavy for Caleb Williams, and it's looking like maybe I need another option right now, so I'm going after Derek.
I really think Caleb Williams is more of the stash quarterback in your dynasty or keeper league. Stash him.
Yeah.
See what happens. See what happens later this season. But yeah, for anyone who has Tua, look, and maybe Derek Carr is available because he's available in 80 to 90% of leagues out there.
Yeah.
He's a good pickup right now.
Yeah, and that 91 points, like you said, tied for fourth most in NFL history in the first 2 games. Week 1, it was against the Panthers. So I was like, it's against the Panthers. Dallas has a good defense, and sorry, Cereal. We're doing sorry, Cereal instead of sorry, Cody. They routed them. So kind of interesting there to see if they can keep that up. My quarterback waiver is going to be Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. Hear me out here.
Okay.
Rostered at 0% of ESPN, 9% of Sleeper. Bryce Young to the bench, like we said, Andy Dalton in. He started week 3 last year because of Bryce Young injury. So week 3 is just his week. And that week he scored 23.5 fantasy points. And we were sitting there going, why aren't they going to continue playing him? Because obviously he runs this offense much better than Bryce Young. He's a better quarterback than Bryce Young. So I think he's going to do all right. If you had a guy like Jordan Love, Tua, like me, you went after Caleb. This might be the guy that you can go after that can give you some points. And he's got a lot of weapons, really. I mean, they brought in Deontay Johnson. They drafted Xavier Legette. They still have Adam Thielen. And I think it's just going to be a completely different offense with Andy Dalton because, quite frankly, Bryce Young sucks.
Well, due to my injuries, if I have to start Xavier Legette again, I'm hoping he's going to actually score a point for me. I still like Derek Carr as a better pickup.
I would go for Derek Carr first, absolutely. But if you're in the 21% of leagues where he's already rostered, then I like
the Red Rifle is your option.
I like Andy Dalton as an option. You said Red Rifle, so the R was stuck in my head, I guess.
All right, I have also got Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
As a waiver pickup this week.
You're welcome, Cody.
You're sorry, not sorry, or not sorry, Cody. I don't know. He's rostered in 32.3% of ESPN leagues, 25% of Sleeper. I feel like he's an interesting player to watch.
Yeah.
Ramondre. My names got me all tripped up over this Marvinson.
Dre. Let's call him Dre Stevenson.
No, Ramondre Stevenson is the leader of this backfield. However, the Patriots are running the ball. That seems to be their blueprint. They ran the ball 45 times on Sunday, and Gibson had 11 of those carries for 96 yards. He had 10 less carries, but 15 more yards than Stevenson. He can also catch well out of the backfield, which it's great for us. Remember, Gibson has always been a talented back. It's just fumbling. That's kind of been his issue.
True.
So if he can keep from fumbling and get 10 carries a game, he could give some flex value.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm going to go with, so this is kind of a loaded waiver, kind of a wait and see maybe. I saw our good buddy Cody already went. There's the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco out 6 to 8 weeks. They're bringing Kareem Hunt in for a visit to see if they want to sign him. I saw Cody going through a bunch of leagues, picking him up already because he hasn't played a game. Therefore, he's available. So if you have the spot, you can just add him. But I'm going to go with Carson Steele. He's rostered in 1.6% of ESPN leagues, 4% of Sleeper. I think Samaje Perine, I thought he was going to be a good pickup because he's going to get the passing down work. And potentially this is going to be a 50-50 split. Now they're bringing Hunt in. That kind of clouds it a little bit. But Carson Steele is just this punishing runner, undrafted free agent, a guy you want to root for. I actually think he's going to end up getting a lot of those carries and kind of wear the defense out, pile up some yards, especially Patrick Mahomes isn't looking as Patrick Mahomes. And I thought, I was so high on him. It was weird.
Are you overreacting? You're overreacting.
Maybe but last year we sat there going, what's wrong with Mahomes and stuff? He didn't start out strong as a fantasy football asset. They won games, don't get me wrong, but they didn't start off strong as a fantasy football asset. And yeah, I don't know. This backfield's going to be interesting to watch if they do sign Kareem Hunt. I bet he starts on the practice squad, gets in game shape. So Carson Steele for now is the guy I'm targeting.
All righty. Well, I'm going to target Josh Reynolds. He's rostered in 2% of ESPN leagues, 6% of Sleeper. I get that it's hard to use a waiver on a Denver player. But Josh,
is that a shot at some of your coworkers?
I don't know. I don't know a lot of.
I guess they're more Browns fans, huh?
Bengals, Browns, they're all from
equally disgusting.
All over. But anyway, Josh Reynolds has shown to be a part of the Denver offense. He was always good for Detroit as well when he got targeted, but now he's getting to start for Denver and he's doing well. So he's a big play guy at times. He had 93 yards this Sunday, and he's averaging 17% of the target share on a team that I think is going to need to pass the ball to keep up right now.
Well, they certainly don't seem to be able to run the ball, so I think they're going to have to as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with another guy that it's hard to use a waiver on. You said hard to use it on a Denver player. Might be even harder to use a waiver on Quentin Johnston after his rookie season. He's rostered in 6.9% of ESPN, 22% of Sleeper. But he's looking like now preseason, Harbaugh said, oh, we have plans for Quentin Johnston. I think he could have a good year. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I mean, he got 5 targets last week and 38 yards. And then this Sunday, he had 6 targets. He caught 5 of them for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Maybe this is an overreaction because they played the Panthers, and the Panthers just seem to suck. They are the worst team in football. But I do think there's something to be said about a guy starts getting some confidence because he was very touted out of college. He was a very good college player. He just had some drops his rookie season. He did not look good. Maybe this is giving him the confidence to where he's going to start making these big plays consistently. And if he can live up to his potential, then you absolutely want him on your fantasy football roster.
All right.
Tight end time?
It is tight end time. I think a lot of us are probably hurting in the tight end position.
My tight end is hurting.
It's just what we've anticipated all for this season is just not panning out right now. It's only week 2 though. Don't need to panic. But if you're like me and you had Evan Engram and Travis Kelce's not performing, or Evan Engram was your main guy and you don't want to start your backup, maybe take a look at Hunter Henry. He is rostered in 10%. He's rostered in 10% of ESPN leagues, 22% of Sleeper. He's coming off of a 12-target, 8-catch performance for 109 yards, and it looks like Jacoby Brissett realized that Hunter Henry is a good option to dump the ball off to. I think they'll keep throwing his way. He had 50% of the target share this Sunday, which is crazy.
It is.
We have seen him finish as a top 12 fantasy football tight end before. So he has that talent. He has that potential. It's possible he could do that again. So if you had, even Jake Ferguson or Evan Engram,
or you whiffed.
Or you just whiffed on tight end. Maybe you drafted Kyle Pitts and he's just sucking.
He's not, but okay.
I didn't even pay attention to his week 1 stats.
He finished as the 4th ranked tight end.
Fine. It was a fluke. Maybe you drafted Pitts and it's going to be a fluke and you're going to be looking. Hunter Henry is a great option. You
mentioned the 50% target share. That's the second highest we've seen so far through 2 weeks. The highest, Malik Neighbors this week had 67% of the target share. Now, as a defense, why do you not just double team him all day if that's all they're going to throw to? Also, if you are hurting in your tight end, go see a doctor. I have Mike Gesicki rostered in 2.6% of ESPN, 10% of Sleeper. He's the 6th ranked tight end right now, or 5th ranked. They drew out some good plays for him. Burrow dumped it off well, and this O-line seems bad again. And so you're going to have more dump offs as Burrow kind of panics back there. And this might, as T. Higgins comes back, maybe this tapers off a little bit, but He had 7 catches on 9 targets against the Chiefs and 91 yards. That's not bad numbers at all. And one last person, just to throw in there as a bonus, we already kind of mentioned him in the injury report, but Demarcus Robinson on the Rams, he's rostered in 56% on Sleeper, so he might still be available for you.
If he gets points.
Well, I think he's going to be your top guy now that Cup's out as well.
But
with Puka
still.
and Cup out, I think Demarcus Robinson will be the top guy. He did all right this year, or this week, I believe.
I thought he was one of mine who scored nothing.
I don't believe that's accurate.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Not DeMarcus. I was thinking of DeMario.
Oh, DeMario.
I had to play him.
I guess he only had 2 catches for 50 yards, but
it still wasn't good. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that whole game they were just off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If you're 0-2 though, don't panic. The Ravens are 0-2. The Bengals are 0-2. The Rams are 0-2. So, yeah, don't panic because those are good teams and you could be a good team too. Just make some adjustments. Let's catch up with the chat here. Flex Bowers, if I start Laporta, other flex options would be Tank Dell, Xavier Worthy, or Yosibus. I think you have to put Bowers in at this point. He is doing very well. He was the second target share leader behind Devontae Adams this week, and I think he's going to continue to be that. So, Serial, not trying to salt your wounds. I apologize. We just had to throw some stuff in about the Saints. Champ say my Cardinals put the NFC on notice on Sunday. Marvin Harrison Jr. out here looking like a young Randy Moss. He did look very good. I will say that. I want to see more consistency since it's only been a couple quarters that it seems like he's been good. But yeah, Millie Mills, I'm gonna lose Cup for about a month. I need a great waiver replacement now. I'm in the same boat. I'm in the exact same boat there. And Nick's saying panic mode. Michael Wilson or Greg Dortch, Champy saying there might be a little bias there being a Cardinals fan. Rod at SGPN. What's up, Rod? Make sure you go check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. They just did their 500th episode 500.
Wow.
Yes. So congratulations, guys. That's awesome. And it's a great one. They have plenty of commercials about how to fix tight end hurting, he says. And I agree with Nick Fortune, another person to target, Juwan Jennings. Like we said in the injury report, I think that's going to be a good option with Debo going to be missing some games. Should we talk a little bit about these best bets so we can get people out of here pretty soon? Because the game's going to be starting soon. You got some time. And you want to place some bets. And if you're thinking, what do these two people know about bets? I would like to let you know what we know about bets. This is Thursday's recap where we gave our best bets for the weekend. Jonathan Taylor over 79.5 rush yards. You gave that out. Cashed. I gave out as a likely over 36.5. It seemed too easy. Apparently that's why it did not cash. You gave out both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as good options. Mike Evans didn't cash, but Godwin did. And then we swept the rest of the board. I gave out Jameson Williams over 3.5. He cashed. Ramondre Stevenson over 63.5 rushing yards. Cashed. Austin Eckler over 19.5 receiving yards. Cashed. And just thought I'd throw this a little together.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, I have a little bit more profit and wins than you, which is
Thanks
okay.
For this.
You're welcome.
I did not anticipate seeing this.
You know what, though? Here's the big picture. You are up plus 6.8 units. I am up plus 10.4 units. That means collectively, if you bet every bet that we've given out on the pod, you would be up 17.2 units. That ain't half bad. That means if you did $10 bets, you would be at 170.2 right now. So, yeah, don't get sassy.
Well, you just have to.
I just had
you
a little
could
bit
have just
more.
done collectively. You had to split it up.
Oh no, it's a competition.
Everything's a competition with us.
Yeah. So let's give out our best bets for Monday Night Football. I'll let you lead the way. We'll give out one bet each, and then we'll give out our first touchdowns. Which we've, like we said, as a podcast, we're 100%.
We are 100% as a podcast. Let's hope we can keep that going. I have been going with running back receiving yards. It worked last Monday. Thursday, we were a yard short, but I'm going to stick with the trend. So let's go Saquon Barkley over 18.5 receiving yards. He had 23 week 1 against the Packers. I think he goes over 20 again this week.
I like that. I'm going to do a little different. And this was part of my Underdog Fantasy as well. So maybe I'm double dipping a little bit, but I like it because I think Jalen Hurts is slowly morphing into Dak Prescott. And he throws some really dumb interceptions. He had 2 against the Packers, and I think the Falcons want to prove that their defense is good after they kind of struggled against Pittsburgh. So give me Jalen Hurts over half an interception, and that's plus money as well. So I like that one a lot.
All right.
First touchdown bet time.
I'm going with Saquon Barkley.
All right.
He had 3 touchdowns in their opener. AJ Brown is out. They're going to keep running the ball. He's the favorite, but it's for a reason. This one is plus 400.
Yeah. I technically have 2. I'm just going to say that right away.
So that's kind of like what you're throwing an extra one out there so that we have 3 options.
We have 3 options. My first one I would do this is how I would split it up if it was me. I'd do a unit on the first one, half a unit on the second one. So my unit pick, the one I feel most confident about, is Bijan Robinson. Same idea as yours, just opposite team. I think Bijan Robinson and the Falcons are going to come out strong. He's at plus 600, 6-1. I think he's going to be heavily involved against this Eagles defense. And it can be rushing or receiving. He gets involved in both. But I am sprinkling a half unit on my guy, Kyle Pitts, at 15-1. I have a feeling. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be. Oh no.
Okay. As much as I'm against Pitts, and I just don't want to hear his name. I'm so over him, and it's because of you. I will admit when I'm wrong. If I become wrong about him this season, I'll admit it. If he does well, obviously I'm gonna have to.
That's where you're better than me. I would never admit that Kyron Williams was good last year, even though he did well.
He was good.
I wouldn't admit it though. Yeah. I think Pitts scores a touchdown.
I mean, I'm not going to hold to saying he's a horrible player when the data proves differently.
The data does not prove
data.
Differently. All right. Let's see. Been waiting for these first touchdowns. Serial, hopefully we get it. He says Dotson and Goddard looking juicy. At least he didn't throw away your best bets this week, Murph. Baby steps.
At least he didn't do that. I had it all nice and you crinkled it up and threw it in the trash.
And then I didn't even think about the fact that I just insulted Dak Prescott. So, whoa. Don't you mean morphing into Josh Allen? Sorry, Serial. I feel like I really did rub the salt in the wound with that one. I apologize. So, sorry. Should we talk about this whiskey?
Let's do it. I'm going to pass the baton is what I want to say. I don't know why. Over to you and have you go over the history again this week.
Okay. Let me get this.
So you're going to pour?
Yep. I'm getting this poured.
I'll let you pour.
All right. Again, we are drinking cigars. Buzzard's Roost. Yeah. It's a rye, straight rye whiskey, and it's a cigar rye. We'll get into what that means in a little bit here. But Buzzard's Roost sipping whiskey started in 2019 after Judy Hollis-Jones and Jason Browner met while doing a barrel pick. They got to know each other, and they just decided, for whatever reason, I guess, they were like, hey, let's start our own bourbon brand, which is an interesting thing. You go to a barrel picks thing, and you just meet somebody. You're like, hey, you want to start some whiskey? They must have had some money, is my guess. The whiskey's distilled in Indiana by MGP, who, if you're familiar with whiskey, they make a lot of different whiskeys for the bigger brands. And then it's bottled in Kentucky. So they knew when they started, they wanted to make their whiskey unique. And so they worked with a barrel expert at Independent Stave Company to create barrels for secondary maturation. So you get this whiskey from MGP. A lot of places they get it, and then they'll get different kinds, different aged years, and then they'll blend it. This is already aged whiskey and everything. They said, why don't we age it again? Why don't we do another finish on it so that we are adding our own touch? And they ended up using a number 1 char, which, if you know a lot about whiskey, number 3 is the most common. But they wanted that number 1 because then the whiskey can seep into the oak easier and access kind of that oak influence. And they mature it for a second time for 18 months. And your normal time, if you do another mature, is 6 months. So they let it sit a little bit longer. Judy is now running as the CEO. She works on distribution, operations, sales, and marketing, while Jason heads up production. And I think he's like the lead whiskey taster as well, making sure that they're putting out a great product. Their core expressions include a bourbon, which is a blend of 4 to 6 year old bourbons, a number 1 char, which is a 4-year-old, a toasted oak bourbon, which is a blend of 4 and 5 year old double barrel bourbons, a barreled strength rye, a char number 1 rye, a toasted barrel rye, a single barrel rye, toasted French oak bourbon, American whiskey, and a bottle and bond bourbon. We're drinking a specialty batch, which is their cigar rye. This is bottled, just for the record, 5,678, batch 3. It's 105 proof. If you're familiar with cigar ryes, so the idea behind a cigar rye, you're blending whiskeys to try to bring out the note of dried tobacco leaves. Buzzard's Roost said, you know what? That's not good enough. We need to take this a step further. So they take a 4-year-old rye from MGP. It's 95% rye, 5% malted barley, and they finish it in custom barrels that are cold smoked with aged tobacco leaves from Kentucky, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So,
well, they got it. They got
it.
Yes.
What do you smell?
I definitely smell the tobacco and spice. It's like a spicy tobacco on the nose.
See, I get leather.
A little
Like
bit. I can see why you get that.
Yeah, like a clean leather smell.
Not a clean.
No,
Maybe
not
spicy. A spicy
leather.
No, I think it's more tobacco.
Cereal saying cigars. I thought dank month was January. We'll answer your question in just a second here, Brody.
I only took one sip. I'm going to take another.
All right.
You're not supposed to drink at the same time as me.
Oh, sorry.
For the
the I guess not fumes, but the alcohol was hitting my eyes.
You don't
a
have to
little bit.
cry, hun.
I know, it was hitting my eye a little bit.
It is very tobacco-y.
Ooh, especially the finish.
The finish is strong tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very strong tobacco finish, sweet. Oh man, this makes me want to have a cigar with it.
It's like it is like you're smoking a cigar.
Right. Makes me want to have a cigar with it. I'm sure it complements it well. You know, go out by the fire pit, have a cigar. Can't do that right. Well, I guess I could, but my favorite cutter and my favorite lighter got left. I just realized today.
Oh.
I had a little guys' night on Saturday and left my cigars that I took and my cutter and my lighter. So Josh and Haley have those right now, I guess.
Okay.
They got passed on to them. So yeah, do you like it? I know I'm more of a tobacco person.
It's good. It's unique. It's definitely a unique. I think it's gonna make an amazing old fashioned.
It'll be very.
It's gonna make it like a smoky old fashioned.
Yeah. For 105, it's not overbearing.
Oh no, I would say it's definitely not. But that's also gonna help it stand out, like in any mixed drink you make with it.
Right. Agreed.
It is very much though, like it's so smoky.
Yeah.
I think
not smoky, but tobacco-y. Right? I don't get smoky, I get tobacco.
Well, I feel like I've had a cigar. So maybe that's where I'm getting that.
But smoke and
not
tobacco
smoke,
are
okay.
different. A smoke taste and tobacco, like
it's
smoked
both.
meat is
to
not
me,
a tobacco
it's a little bit of both.
Really?
A little bit. It's definitely tobacco-y, but I feel like it's smoked.
All right. I want you to take another drink and tell me on the very front end, before that tobacco hits,
Okay.
you get a sweetness, like a little bit of vanilla. Because I'm tasting vanilla and then boom, tobacco. She's thinking.
There's something
now
sweet
that I
there.
placed it in your head.
Nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be influenced by you. There is something sweet there right away, but that tobacco hits like within less than a second. The tobacco hits you.
Yeah, 100%.
I would say, as far as like, because we've had some like tobacco-y type whiskeys on the show. This is very, very much so. So if you really like, I do think it would be good paired with a cigar if you are a cigar person.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're not, I just think it's good anyways. Good to have.
I'm thinking of all, like, you can make so many unique cocktails with this.
Yeah, I agree. It's got a really unique flavor profile. Good job to Buzzard's Roost. Definitely very good. Go check it out if you get a chance. This again is the cigar rye. Let's answer Brody's question here. I got offered Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Ladd McConkey for Malik Neighbors, Tony Pollard, and James Conner. What do you think full PPR? If you don't have first thoughts on it, I do.
Okay, go for it, Justin.
I think the Malik Neighbors, Tony Pollard, James Conner side wins this by a lot. Rodgers has not looked good. I know that sounds like bias from a guy that's a Bears fan and has despised Rodgers for years, but he's not looked all that good, in my opinion. And Garrett Wilson, his top target getter, I get that, but they aren't necessarily putting up major points so far. Wilson had 6 receptions on 11 targets week 1 for 60 yards, only 4 receptions on 6 targets for 57 yards, but that 6 targets was 21% of the target share. They're not throwing the ball a whole lot because they have Breece Hall. Braylon Allen looked good this week. And then just to kind of dive into this more, Josh Jacobs did look good with Malik Willis in there. But when Jordan Love comes back, they're going to get back to throwing the ball. Did you see he didn't throw it one play on 3rd down because the center puked on the ball?
No.
When you watch the replay, he's getting ready to snap it, and he literally just and projectiles on it, snaps the ball. Malik tries to wipe his hand real quick, but he couldn't throw it, so he just ran.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I think Jordan Love coming back, which they're aiming by week 5 or 6.
I need to. Sorry, I have to go find that's somewhere. I did not see that. I did not get to watch that game. So.
So, anyways, Josh Jacobs, he had a good game. I think he will be solid this year, but I like James Conner better than him. And then Ladd McConkey and Tony Pollard is kind of a wash. So I think
if you're getting offered Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, and Ladd McConkey,
yes,
you're telling him no, don't do it.
Correct. I would keep Neighbors, Pollard, and Connor. If you're getting offered Neighbors, Pollard, and Connor, I would take it. But I think you're getting Wilson, Jacobs, and McConkey.
That's if you read.
Yeah.
If you read,
I got offered. I read sometimes. I think you're good where you're at, especially. We just talked about Neighbors, 67% of the target share,
which is crazy.
And it's not highest. That's the highest we've seen all year so far. I don't think we had that last year either. 67% of the target share, and still couldn't be stopped. He had 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown.
There's so much potential there. I know we're only in week 2, but there is so much potential.
And I know it's Daniel Jones, who it's not great.
I wouldn't give him up.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Tony Pollard seems to be dominating that backfield, and especially now Tajay Spears dealing with an injury. And James Conner is a stud. That's how I would do it. Thanks for checking in, Brody. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We appreciate that. We're like 46, I think, away from 500.
We're short-term goal, trying to get there.
Yeah.
For only being on. We've been doing the pod so much longer than we've been on YouTube, but we're trying to get that YouTube presence out there.
Yeah, YouTube has been a little over a year. We started at the beginning of last year. So 500 just feels like a good goal right now. That's what we really want to hit. So
beginning of the season last year.
Yeah. So subscribe, hit the little thumbs up to say you like it, and share with your friends. Pass it around. Say, you could say, look at these weirdos. You could say, hey, these people drink whiskey. They're cool as shit. Or you could just say, hey, listen to their advice when they say that this trade is bad, and that's why I declined your trade.
Throw us out there to people. When you're declining trades, they said no. Sorry.
They said it was a bad deal. You need to offer me more. That's what you should be doing. Miranda, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to talk about the Family League and the trades that are going on, like talking about like trade advice and stuff. We're getting so flooded with trade talk and questions, phone calls,
which is okay.
It is absolutely okay. But then CMC got traded.
He did. To your aunt from her son, I warned her that he might be going on IR. It was a real possibility. She said, I want my boy back, because she won last year and she had CMC. So she was excited about that. She makes the trade. He gets placed on IR.
It's not forever. And she gave up Amon-Ra
and somebody else that was pretty good. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I did say to Caleb, who's been making all the trades. He's been the center of all the trades.
I beat him so badly in week 1.
Well, he got beat so badly in week 2 as well.
I didn't check how badly he got beat.
Said,
is it over for him?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Tonight's game doesn't impact it? Okay.
Not at all. So I said, good job on all those trades. And he said, it's a marathon. Well, you're still 0-2, buddy.
You might need to change his team name, because you are not the winning team, Caleb.
Not yet. No. Your aunt did say that I think she had some post-trade regrets, but it is what it is. I warned you about it. You said, I know, thanks for looking out, but I want to do it anyway. So I approved it as
I was trying to get CMC from him, but I was giving him more reasonable trades.
Yeah. He, as Josiah said, smells weaselly to me.
We have to find a weasel, and I think Caleb's trying to be the weasel this year.
Yeah, he's in the running. He's first in the running for right now of Weasel of the Year for sure. Mark 57, great show. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support 100%. We'll update you on Thursday on our listener leagues. We have 2 listener leagues going on right now.
I am dying in both of them.
I'm destroying you in the Keeper's Heart Bowl. A Savage and Cook one, I'm about to lose a player.
I'm going to lose another player in both Pirate leagues. I'm in 2 different Pirate leagues.
I'm only going to lose in one.
I'm like, when do you give up then? 2 weeks
Never.
later, you're both.
Never.
I know, but how do you turn it around?
I started 0-4 last year. I almost made the playoffs. So don't give up.
I look
Never
like
give
I
up,
don't even
never
know what I'm
surrender.
doing in our listener league because I only got 48 points this week because
Like,
I have
that you
3
can't win.
players. 3 players that I started that got 0 points because I have so many injuries.
Well, Rod is working on who he's going to steal from you because he beat you this week. So he's thinking about that.
Good thing. That's not. This is not the Pirate one. This is Keeper's Heart.
Yeah, I beat you.
Xavier got 0. Greg Dortch only got 3 points. Demario Douglas is who got 0 for me.
I see another one on there that's
Tank
been.
Bigsby got 0.
I see another one on there that's been a big disappointment so far, and that's Christian Kirk.
Oh,
Christian Kirk has been a
Mhm.
very big
That
disappointment.
was.
I was
You
high on him
had
this
him.
year.
Yeah, I got Sam Laporta. He only got me 3 points.
Oh, that's on my team. I thought it was on yours.
No,
I got
I'm talking about mine. Josh Palmer only 3.9. I did horrible, just horrible and all my injuries. AJ Brown. I won't go down all the way.
Look-
Raheem Mostert, Puka. They're gone.
Caleb, we're hearing from the chat. Caleb also trying to get Josh Allen in a trade.
No,
But
let's ban the Caleb trade.
That shit's getting shut down. Rod, make sure you steal a player by you let me know who you want to steal by Tuesday. All the people that are in the Savage and Cook.
Forget you could forget too, and then nobody gets stolen from me.
Everybody in the Savage and Cook League Tuesday at we're gonna extend it to 10 p.m. Central Time. If it's after that, I'll probably be in bed because I'm old. So make sure you get in your trades before that. It was 8 last week. We're extending to 10 this week. Don't forget. You have anything else you'd like to add?
No.
My whiskey's just about gone. This was damn good. Going once, going twice.
Sold.